Live from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, specifically your money life, your work life, and your relationship life. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague Rachel Cruz, and we're here for you this hour. It is your show, America, so what are your questions? What do you got? We always love having that conversation with you. It's a free phone call, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Rachel, you ready to go?
Absolutely,
All
Ken.
right. You look
it's gonna be
fantastic
a great hour.
on this summer day.
Cheers.
There it is. So there we go. We've never done this before.
Oh, cheers.
There it is. You'll
Cheers
see a
to
lot of
good hour.
that on the Smart Money Happy Hour
That's
podcast
true.
with George Campbell, our colleague. A lot of cheers going on over there.
A lot of cheers there,
A lot
for
of
sure.
fun
We
times
should bring
over
some
there.
more here.
We should. I wonder, what do I got to say to James Childs, our fearless producer, to have a little bit of that come on over here? I don't know. We'll have to talk about that on many commercial breaks. But let's get going. Monifa is up first in Washington, D.C. Monifa, how can we help?
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Ken and Rachel.
You bet.
My question is, I recently purchased a new car because my car died on me. I wasn't expecting to buy one for at least another 2 to 3 years, and so now I have a bit of debt. And my question is, so I have the option of paying that debt off using stocks, but right now the market isn't doing that well, and so I would be taking not a loss, but I would kind of break even. And I was just wondering if I should sell the stocks to pay that. Oh, the other thing is I earn dividends on that stock monthly. So I get about $200 a month off of that. And I'm not sure if I should sell the stocks or if I should just pay it off by adding like extra payments to the principal.
Yeah, for sure. So how much do you owe on the car?
24.
Okay. And if you sold it today, how much could you sell it for?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's new. I don't think that I looked that up, and what I saw across the board was to like hold off for a year because I bought it brand new, so I think it would depreciate too much within that first year to make any money on selling it.
Well, you may, you probably are, you're probably not, it's probably worth less than 24. I'm just figuring out what big of a difference it is. How much do you make a year? What's your income?
It's 103.
Okay. What other debt do you have?
That's it. It's just
the car. Okay. I mean, honestly, you have a great income. I mean, if I were you, I would just buckle down and pay it off. You could, I mean, we always say to cash out any non-retirement funds that you have. So how much in stocks do you have?
The one that I could sell because it's up a little bit would be, there's 31,000 in that one. The others are down.
How much are in there? How much are in those though?
Oh, the second one has about 7,000 in it. So
Okay.
like 38
So
combined.
38 total is what you have in stock.
And are those two single stocks?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
I'd sell 'em.
two ETFs.
So if I were you, and again, you haven't quote unquote lost anything. Yes, you may, the return, you're going to break even because like you're saying about the market, but you technically have not lost anything. So if I were you, I would cash both of these out. I would pay off the car, and then I would put the remaining money, and again, there may be some tax implications to this, but I would take the rest and either use that cash to fund, if you have, do you have an emergency fund? Do you just have cash on hand?
I have an emergency fund, but it only has 2,000 in it.
Okay, so I would cash out this, and I'd pay it off and put the rest in an emergency fund, and I would put the rest in that 2,000. And then from there, Monifa, I would never buy single stocks again. If you have a Roth IRA, 401k, that's going to be your next step, is to fund 15% of your income into those things. But regardless of debt or not, I wouldn't have single stocks anyway. So I would tell you to cash them out regardless of where you were. But now you're going to have that lump sum, and you can use that to your benefit to just pay off this car. And then turn around and fund an emergency fund. And then you'll be, really in a great spot in baby steps 4 through 6 at the point of what we teach. So that's what I would do, Monifa, if I woke up in your shoes.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Monifa, it's going to feel so much better.
It is. The single stock game, honestly, it's exhausting, and majority of people don't come out ahead. Now, we tell people, if you have everything paid off, if you're on baby step 7 and less than 10% of your net worth, you want to dabble in other stuff, like, that's great. But where you are, Monifa, this is like really great money to be used to get you out of debt, to have cash in the bank in case something happens. It just puts you in a really great, solid financial spot to build that strong foundation financially.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's what I would do.
I totally agree. And you're not worrying about the roller coaster anymore with the single stocks. You get into a good investment strategy. And I would recommend, Monifa, that you go to our website, RamseySolutions.com, and we've got a section there called Smart Vestor Pro. Now, these are men and women that are trained financial advisors. They will teach you the process for investing that we endorse and that we teach. And you're going to have a much better feeling about your investment going forward. But this is an opportunity for you to cut your losses as they are. But the real benefit, as Rachel said, is you come away with this with a paid-for car. And now you're on your way to baby step 3 to get that emergency fund in a place where you're really sleeping well and driving well. So
that's right.
This is a no-brainer. And you do walk away with a different picture when you go from having this massive car payment, Rachel, to no car payment at all. And now this depreciating asset doesn't cause you any stress.
That's right. Absolutely. And because of your income and where you're at financially, I think you can keep the car. For some people, we'd sell, if you were making 50 grand, I would be telling you to sell it and to take out a loan for the loss of what you have. But you're at a position, I think you can still keep this car and pay it off. And man, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Does it shock you when you see things on TikTok and Instagram and social media about people bragging about the car payments? Like it's just a part of it. They're like,
yes.
Have you seen these videos?
Oh my gosh.
They got a big smile on their face. They're like, we owe $2,100 every month together as a couple.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm choking watching the video.
It is shocking. And you do talk to people. What's funny is other people in this space in personal finance that's out there, even if you take 10 of us that teach this stuff, we all may disagree on probably 4 or 5 topics, right? Some people are okay with single stocks. Some people are okay with not having your accounts combined when you're married. Some people are great with credit card. Like we all have our differences. But one consistent thing I do find, Ken, almost everyone hates a car loan in the financial advisor space because they see that there's no return on it. It's a depreciating asset, and you're putting money in that where if you had invested that. So anyone under the sun, even if we disagree on the little things here or there, majority of people out there, you guys that are teaching about money, they all are like, the car payment. Yeah. So
and nobody cares.
It's consistent.
Nobody cares what you're
about
driving.
The car. Oh,
unless
gosh.
you're walking around going, I just got the brand new, whatever that is. Nobody cares. And by the way, that makes you come across as a jerk.
That's right. We don't want to be that. Come on, people.
Nobody cares. Just pull around the corner. Park behind the building. Nobody cares.
Set your ego aside.
All right. Hey, we got to step away for just a few moments. Don't move. More of the Ramsey Show coming up.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back, America. You have joined the conversation about your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. All 3 of those topics are just completely woven together. And we want to help you win in all 3 of those areas. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by my colleague, Rachel Cruz. And I'm sure that no matter where you consume your news, how much you consume your news, you're constantly hearing about inflation and interest rates. That I can assure you. It doesn't matter who you are, where you lean, one way or the other.
It's been the conversation for
a while.
Close to 2 years now?
That's right.
18 months?
That's right. So I just want to give a snapshot to our audience. We have a lot of new people joining us all the time, and we're so excited that you're with us. So how do the interest rates, as the Fed raises or lowers, in this case, we've been on a pretty steady path of raising interest rates, how does that affect you day in and day out with your money? So for the past 14 months, here's where we stand. Interest rates have been raising at the fastest clip, Rachel, in 40 years. Okay, so this is a big deal because we had a prolonged period prior to COVID where interest rates were at historic lows. Okay, and so now all of a sudden, pretty big jump. Now, the Fed just announced last week that they're going to hold the current rate steady. Now, this is the first time, Rachel, since January of 2022 when the Fed has met and didn't raise it. All right, so they said, well, we're going to hold and we're going to assess how are the current rates affecting the overheated economy, and that's the way they describe it, and that is all about inflation. Anytime the Fed addresses inflation, they're going to look at a tactic of raising rates. I'll get into that, why and how it affects it. So when they raise the Fed fund rate, the rate that banks charge each other for their overnight loans, that begins to ripple across the economy, where we see mortgages go up, credit card interest rates, home equity lines of credit, and auto loans, and then any other type of loan that maybe you're dealing with or that you can imagine. That's where you start to see higher costs because of the interest rate. All right. Now, what that does is that affects you, the consumer, because all of a sudden that bill is more. And then that changes what you have to spend that given month, that it changes your budget if you're budgeting, and we want you budgeting. And so you start to feel what you see economists refer to as a pinch, right? And so what happens? Well, that means consumer behavior as it relates to purchasing starts to slow down, or at least the Fed hopes so. They hope that consumers start spending less, because when consumers spend more, that's the whole supply demand that you learned sometime around the 6th or 7th grade, hopefully.
That's right. Yep.
Prices go up. More demand, people raise prices. Well, here's where we stand. Right now, over the last 14 months, consumer behavior didn't slow right away. We are seeing it start to dip a little bit, but when the Fed first started raising rates, Rachel, there wasn't much change at all.
Yeah.
Then Jerome Powell, who's our Fed chair, came out and said, we need to see some pain in this economy to get control of inflation. What does he mean? He meant specifically unemployment going up. He was, and I went after him on my show. I've gone after him on this show. It's the one time I've ever agreed with the Democrats in the Senate. And they're saying, look, this is going to take us into an unnecessary recession. That was my concern as well. So all of a sudden, we've got Democrats going, we don't want to drive up unemployment. Why? Because unemployment's low. All right, back to how this affects groceries and everything else. When unemployment is really, really low, you get into wage wars. It's a war for talent. And we saw this where you go into restaurants. You're still going to restaurants, Rachel, where they don't have enough help.
Yep.
So what do? They have to raise hourly wages. They raise salaries, companies do, to attract people.
To have them, work for them.
So
and
that created the Great Resignation. And so wage pressures get passed on to us.
The consumer, the food. When you open the menu and it's more expensive. And it's more expensive, it's because they're having to pay their people more.
Yeah. Groceries are more because they have to pay people that are stocking the groceries more.
Yep.
Okay. And so all of this then begins to affect our wallet. Now, here's where we stand. Inflation is dipping a little bit, okay, but still prices are very, very elevated. The job economy is strong. In other words, the latest job report in May, we saw a slight tick up in unemployment, but we're talking to 3.7%.
Not what they were expecting. Not what the Fed was
he wants to see
going
it,
for.
Yeah, he wants to see it in the 5s. That's painful.
Because it creates...
Well, his theory is it doesn't always work.
Yep.
Raising interest rates doesn't always work to cool the economy. And you could say right now, it hasn't cooled the economy.
No, because people are still spending money like crazy. You guys. I'm like, you go into an airport and it's packed. You go to these places, you're like, oh my gosh, people, they're out. They're doing stuff. And it's the classic effect that DC does not control our behavior. So us putting any level of hope in them, like they're trying to put hope in us that they're like, okay, we'll try to control the consumer's behavior. It's not as married as what it appears to be, or what people think it is, or what they think it is.
Yeah. So where do we stand? Well, inflation hasn't dipped enough, and the Fed has said they're going to continue to push up rates. And will it respond? As in, we'll see unemployment spike and then costs come down? I don't know.
And make that connection again.
Right.
Make that for the listeners, like that unemployment goes up.
Oh, well, see, when unemployment goes up, so what happens when...
And how that's tied to inflation.
So when unemployment goes up, people don't spend as much because they're out of work.
Yep.
And so it's a way of cooling consumer spending. And
but
when
the
consumers
businesses are letting go people.
They are, because they're cutting costs.
Because of inflation. Like I'm trying to make the whole circle.
No, it's just more expensive to do business.
That's right.
So two things happen. Businesses, the cost of doing business is more. And if you get interest rates if interest rates drive you into a recession, that means the balance sheets are worse. Companies aren't making as much money. So what do? Cut cost. Their number one costs are employees. So what happens is they're not producing as much. Consumers are getting laid off. They aren't spending as much. And so what happens is demand drops. And when demand drops, prices drop.
That's right.
Like, for instance, what would be fun? It would be fun if we could create a national movement for 90 days where millions upon millions of American people reduce spending dramatically. Not because they had to,
but to lower inflation. Like, we all do it together. Like, let's band together and attack inflation together. Now,
there's going to be some critics to this video. They're going to go, Ken, you're heartless, because that's going to put people out of work. And presumably it would. But it is supply, demand. It is capitalism. And then here come the people that think, oh, capitalism is awful. Well, whether you think it's awful or not, we're not taking that position today. We're just simply explaining how this affects your pocketbook.
Yes.
And when the Fed continues to raise rates, it is going to hit you in your pocketbook one way or another.
You're going to feel it.
In the grocery store, goods and services that you pay for, and then you could lose your job if unemployment goes up because of a recession.
Right. Because businesses will start laying off. And what's fascinating is I feel this, Ken, I wonder if you do too, but even when we were doing our Building Wealth events around the country 12 months ago, you said all this started 14 months ago. Man, that was the hottest topic, because we were talking about groceries, the price of stuff, all of it. And we're all still feeling it. But isn't it weird that just like human behavior, you get used to something. After a year, our budget has now, it went up and it hurts. And you're like, no. And now our every dollar budget is now consistent month to month. But I look back on what we spent on groceries 2 years ago, and I'm like, I can't believe how we did that. And how you get,
That's a great point.
It's weird how you get used to it.
Well,
not used to it, like it still sucks, but like you find this new way of functioning. And then I would say this too, Ken, with inflation, the opposite is true. When we tell people to get out of debt and all of this, right, these interest rates don't affect you if you don't have debt. And on the flip side, if you have a money market account or a high yield savings account, you're getting the best return you've gotten.
I'm loving it.
In forever. So I'm like,
it.
actually having savings, and not that that's going to be like your long-term strategy is a high yield savings account, but it's high.
Okay,
and
Rachel,
I'm not mad at
you
that.
just said something that I think I want to share with people. Right now, what the interest rates are, they're still historically really low for a home mortgage. But a lot of people are sitting going, it's so high compared to 3.75 or 3.2 or 2.7. But here's the deal. I just want to throw this out there. I think the housing market will rebound when the consumer mentality goes, you know what, historically, 5.75, 6.75, that's not bad. It's going to take a while, but to your point,
start to get used
people
to it.
will adjust, and that's when I think we'll see the housing market boom. I think it's going to be okay, folks. All right, don't move. More of your calls coming up on The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Welcome back, America. You are joining the conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Rachel Cruz. The phone number to jump in is 888-825-5225. What do you want to talk about today? Rachel and I, we have a lot of fun together. We'll
here for you.
We'll even get a little extra, like we'll go a little deeper, maybe a little aside on any of those topics because, you know, we've got an opinion. So if you've never called in before and you're going, I think I might be nervous, trust me. Today's the day. No need to be nervous. We're going to take good care of you. One of the topics we talk about so much on this show is paying off debt because so many people are in debt. And that's a smart thing to do. So is saving and investing. But there's one key to winning with money that a lot of people overlook, Rachel, and that's protecting your finances from emergencies. And that's where insurance is so important. Now, there are 10 kinds of insurance coverage you might need depending on where your life is today. And we've built a tool called Coverage Checkup to show you what you need or what you need to drop. We'll even rank your coverage list by importance, email it to you, and then connect you with a Ramsey trusted insurance provider so that you can get the right plan in place. Donald H., one of our audience members, said, for anyone who has not completed this checkup, do it now. You never know when something will happen, and you never want your family to be in a bad situation. He's right. RamseySolutions.com/checkup. RamseySolutions.com/checkup. Let's go to Columbus, Ohio next. Josh is there. Josh, how can we help?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
What's up?
First, I want to thank you, and then also, so to get started with it, I've been listening to you guys for a couple months now, and I've been trying to reason in my mind not to pay off debt, but I think now it's just like I should go ahead and do it now. So I have about $74,000 in my bank, and I have about $45,000 in debt and loans. So $18,500 is my car loan, and then the $26,500 is in student loans. And then I'm trying to also save for a house that I'm about to buy for my grandpa within the next year.
That's great, Josh. So how can we help?
So I want to make sure that my reasoning to pay off, just to write a check for both these loans, is the best move before I start going straight into a down payment for that house.
Yes, sir. It's a great move.
Yeah. Question, Josh, how much is the house? How much will you be buying it for?
I'm planning on doing somewhere around $150 because there's a bunch of work I want to do to it.
Okay. That's great. So the why behind paying off this debt, and you have the money for it, so writing a check today, I would say is twofold, Josh. One, we have found the fastest way to build wealth and to win with money from point A to point B, the fastest, most effective way, the way that honestly will sustain you over a long period of time, is getting out of debt. When your income comes in and it's all yours, it's not going back out into a car loan, it's not going back out into a student loan, you're going to be able to have all of that to work for you, whether you're working for you in purchasing a home and having that where it's going to build equity over time, It's going to work for you, having it to be able to invest and compound interest, and it works for you over time. Like you're letting your money work for you versus working for the bank. So from a mathematical financial standpoint, it does you so much service to have no debt. And that's, again, on the more tactical side. And then what we found, Josh, too, over the years, this show's been around for, 30 years, Ken? Yeah. And continually in this message, Josh, we hear people talk about the freedom that they feel on an emotional, a spiritual level. I mean, it's amazing even what your body physically, like what it does to protect yourself. And when you owe someone money, we don't give this enough credit of the amount of brain power that it goes to saying, okay, someone else has a level of power over my life and I'm not in complete autonomy. Someone else has say over my life, whether it's Toyota Motor Company, Sally Mae, someone else is latched on to you. And when you are free from that and you're free from a system, and it does something to you, again, on a more emotional, spiritual level than most people ever talk about. So that's why we have people call in and scream out, I'm debt free, because when you are free, there's a freedom there that you just can't experience when you financially are in this bondage. So that's always the thing I tell people, Josh, is it's smart financially and it's smart for just Josh as a whole person to not owe anyone anything. So I would take that route in a heartbeat. I would take the rest of that money, that $29,000, create some level of an emergency fund for you. Are you single, married, kids? Where are you at with life?
I have one kid and I'm single.
Okay. So I would have a nice emergency fund there, maybe 4 months.
What's your take home?
I am 50.
Your take home after tax is $50,000?
No, it's annually.
Right. So what's your monthly take home? After tax?
About $2,600.
All right.
Okay.
So to Rachel's point.
Ooh, you're going to feel freedom from
this
those
is
payments.
amazing. Okay. So can I just have some fun with the numbers, Josh?
Sure.
Okay. So if I heard you right, you have $74,000 cash in the bank right now, and your total debt is $45,000, correct?
Correct.
All right. That leaves $29,000, which is amazing. At $2,600, if I heard you right, take home. All right, so $2,600 at 6 months, which is, we say anywhere from 3 to 6 months. I'd love to see you have a 6 month emergency fund. I think it'd be fantastic, okay? So you're looking at about $15,000 roughly, right? For your 6 month emergency fund, correct?
Yep.
All right. My friend, that leaves you with $14,000 still that you now begin to go into baby step 3B, which is saving towards that house.
Yep.
In one check, you in one fell swoop of just a mighty payment, right? Chopping down the tree of debt. My friend, that's a big deal. Now, one other fun number. What are your combined monthly payments between the student loan and the car, roughly?
Well, I haven't been making any payments to student loans.
Well, that's true.
I wanted to start doing that.
You got me on that. What's the car payment?
So it's about $450 a month.
Bro, you got $14,000 left over, and now you've got a raise of $450 a month. These are just Rachel.
And to save that down
it.
payment, you're going to have a great down payment for
great down payment
for a $150,000 house. So
that $450.
We say anywhere from 5 to 10% on a starter home.
Yeah.
To put down, and you'll have that.
So run the math on that, Josh. So $450 a month now that you could put towards the down payment. Okay, how quickly do you get there? And you were asking, I need a good reason to do it. We've given you a good reason, emotionally and spiritually, as Rachel said beautifully. But just look at the numbers, my man. You have a fat emergency fund. You're on your way to that really healthy down payment for your first home.
And Josh and I would even say, I would even go a little bit more liberal than Ken did, even if you wanted a 3-month emergency fund.
That's true too.
Right? I mean, you could cut that in half.
That's right.
That 15 and say, maybe it's more, like 6, 7, and then add more to that down payment. And then later you can bump it up if you want. But I mean, you have the ability to do everything right now is what it feels like in a great way. So use it to your advantage to get you ahead financially. So I, in a heartbeat, would do that.
That's exciting.
So I think it's great. Do you have any other cash, Josh, just around like in any type of savings?
Yeah, I have about $2,000 just laying in cash.
Okay, that's awesome. So how would it feel, Josh, waking up tomorrow knowing that you have let's just pretend $7,000 saved in the bank, no debt, and you're looking towards the house. How does that just feel?
Well, it would be awesome.
Yeah, I think it would. Do it, Josh.
Today.
We're cheering you on.
Like today.
It's Friday.
It's
Into the
going to the
weekends.
weekend debt free.
Do it.
Man, I got to tell you, if I'm you, I'm trying to get it all paid off and then really having the greatest happy hour of all time. Smart
Go
money
celebrate.
happy hour.
Go celebrate.
Oh,
That's
my
awesome.
Goodness, how fun is that? A single dad, a young single dad, starting off his life.
Honestly,
in the right
Ken,
way.
most people have this and they're starting from ground zero. He's got $74,000 he's saved up, so he's
Good for
a good
him.
guy. I'm like, you're doing great. You're doing awesome.
Stud. Big time stud. Be free going into the weekend, my friend. Boy, Monday morning's going to feel great. Awesome stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Don't move. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruz is alongside this hour as we are here for you. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Let's go to Seattle, Washington. Karen joins us there. Karen, how can we help?
Hi, Ken and Rachel. Thank you for taking my call. I am an experienced registered nurse and desire to move up in my industry. I also have a master's degree. I have taken your Get Clear assessment, and I have some great job examples that I feel like would fit me. However, I feel like I lack the confidence to really move up, and part of that is that I have a chronic health condition that at times, has episodic exacerbations, and then I'm out for work for like a day. I feel like if I want to move up into management or any leadership, I couldn't really perform or not really make them happy. I can't really resolve this, but it does seem to kind of cause some anxiety and create that mental barrier in my head. I'm a smart, experienced nurse. I know I can do it. But I have 2 job interviews lined up with VP executives. Should I tell them about this concern?
Well, let me address that in a second. You're smart, you're experienced. That tells me that this is, even though this is a nuisance, this health issue, and it kind of comes and goes, it doesn't seem to me that it's hurting your job performance overall. Is this true?
No, not at all.
So your current leaders, if I were talking to their current supervisors, I said, hey, tell me about Karen. What are they going to say?
Actually, I just heard from them last week. It goes, Karen, we can't say enough how your job does not go unnoticed. You are excellent. And every manager really praises my work.
Okay, so
Karen, I think it's mentally a block for me.
It is. Listen, this is huge. You have got to focus on what you just heard from your managers, what you've always heard from your managers, and the season that this started popping up, you have been able to manage it. So now, while I'm not a medical doctor, if your medical doctor is saying, hey, look, when this episodic thing happens, you got to take some time off. But if it doesn't affect you other than that, and you're not missing too much time, then your fear, while understandable, is not reasonable. Your fear is not reasonable. There is nothing keeping you from doing the job of managing other nurses just because we know this to be true because it hasn't kept you from taking care of your patients. True or false?
True. It has not impacted my ability to do any of my job performances at all.
So now back to your question. Because it will not impact your ability to do your job, I don't think you got to lead with it. I don't think you're being dishonest by not talking about it. It's just, you can just share as you get closer to the process. If they make an offer, Now, this is where I would bring it up. If they go, hey, we really want to do this, just go, listen, I just want to let you know that I have this issue from time to time, and it has not affected my ability to do my job. You're going to come to this job with rave reviews.
I was going to say, you'll have references and reviews, and they're going to be able to speak for you.
And you don't use up all your sick time. Is that true?
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, if it happens, I might have to take a full day off or half a day off. But after that, I'm right into my work.
Well, then I don't think this is anybody's.
How often does that happen, Karen? I'm just curious.
Sometimes there's nothing in a month. Sometimes once or twice. Like this month, it happened 4 times: a half a day here, full day there. But I have what they call FLMA paperwork with my current job for intermittent leave. So that I'm covered. I'm not just calling out for no reason.
Sure,
so,
no, totally.
Karen, I listen. I don't want you to believe this lie anymore. And the lie is that I'm not going to be able to do the job of leading and caring for other people because of this, and they won't give me a shot. I just don't think that's true. I think you walk forward head high, shoulders back, and you've got some real facts here to kind of, conflict with this fear. You've got, look, I understand why you feel this way, but you agree it's not reasonable, yes?
I agree.
Good.
This is not reasonable.
Good.
And I know it's been stuck in my head.
Well, it's
And
natural.
Karen, you sound too, can I say this, just even from talking to you for 2 minutes, you're such a kind person, and there's maybe even a moral dilemma there in you too that's like, I want to, not that I'm scared I'm not going to get the job, but I'm like, I feel this responsibility as this kind person to let them in on something, So what Ken is saying, I think, is great advice. I don't think you lead with it because it doesn't affect your work. But at the end, I think you would sleep better at night knowing, hey, I communicated a concern that I have. And here it is. But here's also the evidence and the patterns of what occurs at work when it happens, and your reviews and your references and all that is going to speak for you to show you, to show them, no, Karen is she's a hard worker. She's good at what she does, and she can take this role because that's what they're going to say about you, Karen, because that's who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it, Karen.
It is. Yeah.
But tell them if it makes you sleep good at night too, Karen. That's important.
Okay. Well, I've got an interview in a couple more hours with the VP and another VP call on Monday, and I know I got that confidence. I know I can do it.
Then lead with that.
I think and I need to leap with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
listen,
great. Thank you for the call.
Just mention it down the line if it gets more serious. But right now, this is just about you, the candidate, and you, the person who wants the job and why. That's what you focus on in these initial interviews. There's no need to create fear and phobias.
Tell them
concerns.
to call Ken Coleman or Rachel Cruz, and we will vouch for Karen.
I love that, actually.
We will be a reference for you,
I love
Karen.
that. Let's go to John now in Valdosta, Georgia. That's down deep south in Georgia. John, how can we help?
Hey there, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. John, we got about 2.5 minutes, so hit us with your questions so we can spend the most time possible helping you out.
All right, so I'm currently active duty military, and with that, I will be locked at my next base for a year.
Okay.
So do I use the VA home loan to set myself up for a house down there while I know I'm locked there for a year, or do I just kind of continue renting?
Continue renting. For sure. Yeah. If you're going to be in a home less than 5 years, there's no purpose, honestly, in buying because you're not going to get the equity out that you want. And even how the market is now, it doesn't give you enough time to write out anything that could happen here in the next, couple months. We were just talking about the Fed raising rates again. So for sure, John, I would rent until you are somewhere long term. But thank you, John, for your service.
Yes.
Where are you deployed at right now?
The Middle East.
The Middle East, okay.
That's all I can say.
No, that's fair.
Nice.
That's fair. Thanks for your service, John.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And what's your long-term plan? What's your long-term plan in the military? How many more years do you see yourself serving? Just to kind of see the back end of this deal.
See, so that's the scary part is I'm coming up on my contract. So I have guaranteed a year. Okay. And then if I have to re-enlist, so that's another 4 years, and that would put me at 11. And if I'm at 11, I might as well do 20, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, okay, so we don't have time to get into that, but make the best, let me say this, make the best long-term decision for you. look long-term where you want to be 20 years from now and let that guide whether or not you sign back up. But to Rachel's point, the reason I asked that question, she's right. Rental gives you freedom. I don't want you having too much pressure that's already there to decide, am I going to sign up and be in the military for this? That's a lot on your shoulders. You don't need a house and a mortgage leaning on you one way or the other. So I love her advice there, and that's why I wanted to ask that question. So, John, stay renting. You're not throwing your money away. You're actually giving yourself more freedom and options to live the life that you want to live long term. So, again, thank you, sir.
That's a great point.
For how you service.
Ken, because when you attach something like a mortgage, which we always say around here, which is true, most people with their primary home, it's the largest purchase they're going to make. So you're going to have that responsibility, not just being a homeowner, but long term having that. And we don't want that to sway a decision that you make long-term with your job and your career and what you choose to do. To be able to have no strings attached, make a very clear decision for you, John, and what you want is the best. And then if you settle somewhere long-term, buy the house.
She is Rachel Cruz. Thank you, my friend. Great hour. I'm Ken Coleman. James Childs, our fearless producer, and the crew behind the glass. Thank you guys for keeping us afloat this hour. You, America, is why we do the show. It's your show. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Ken. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, specifically your money, your work, and your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruz joins me this hour. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Let's get it started right here in our backyard, Nashville, Tennessee. Austin is there. Austin, how can we help?
Hey, hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I am wanting your input. My wife and I are in baby step 2, just kind of plugging away, but we just found out that my wife is pregnant with our first.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Still kind of doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
But, we are wanting to, we're considering looking at our debt and everything, and wanted to get some input on whether or not we should consider selling the house, using all that equity, and then just wiping out all the debt and just kind of basically starting over.
Okay. So how much do you guys make a year?
I make $30,000 working in ministry, and she makes about $35,000 as a therapist.
Okay. So 65. How much debt do you guys have?
We've got $50,000 in student loans, $25,000 in credit cards, and $10,000 on a car.
Okay.
Is that $85K total?
Yeah, and then we've got a mortgage. We have $254 left on the mortgage, but the house we could probably sell it for about $370.
Okay. Man, y'all have a lot of debt. And with this, and with the income, okay, so here's my hesitation, Austin, when I'm talking to you about this. Because first and foremost, now that you guys are expecting, I would recommend not making a big move right now on either ends, but just pile up cash. We always say to pause baby step 2 while you are expecting. Make sure that mom is good, baby is good. If you needed some extra cash on hand, we want that available to you during the pregnancy and after labor delivery, and then we can go back to this. So I don't want you to do anything major and not for 9 months. I mean, I want you to pause and wait.
Can I throw an alternative in here? I want to talk through this.
Yes, do.
But I understand what you're saying. Can you guys even pile up cash, given that you guys have a somewhat limited income? Can you even pile up cash without you having to go work extra?
Yeah, we, based off of just the regular income, not a lot of wiggle room there. I mean, I am door dashing, and I'm in the process of getting my real estate license.
All right, so let me ask you this. All right, because I just want to get Rachel's take on this, because I have an aggressive approach.
Go.
Doesn't mean it's what he should do. All right. Is this house that you're in now, is this your forever house? Is this a house you guys are absolutely in love with, or do you consider this a starter house and you definitely see a different housing situation down the road?
Definitely not where we plan to be long term.
I would sell the house.
We found out about this, we thought we were going to move out of state in the next 3 years.
All right, so Austin, I would sell the house, and I want Rachel to disagree with me here. This is what I would do if I were you. I wrote down the numbers. I would sell the house because you guys have a lot of debt. And with this baby coming, I want you to get a fresh start. You're a young couple. This is not a long-term play for you guys. The value of this house, it's not a big-time investment play that you could live in, even if you paid it off. So if I got the numbers right, after realtor's fees, you're going to walk away somewhere in the $100,000 range you'll have left over. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay. That takes care of all of the debt. We are debt-free. We got $15K left, which based on your income is a really nice emergency fund. We're at baby step 3.
Yep.
Baby comes.
Yep.
That gives us a little bit of margin. That's that margin, because they can't really save and stack cash right now with their current income. So that $15K is that, hey, that gives us a really nice emergency fund. If something health issue-wise with the baby, it just gives us a cushion. Then once baby gets here, we decide what your wife's going to do, what that's going to look like. I like you renting right now and resetting with this new life that you have. And then we're resetting, if you will, from baby step 3. And essentially you would be moving into what we call baby step 3B, beginning to save towards that next house. Rachel, that's what I would do. It'd take a lot of pressure off of mom and dad here as they begin to a new chapter of life. I like this move. I like this move a lot. I would sell.
Yeah. So it's that option, which is more the aggressive route, or it's, hey, we're going to just knock out this debt. But you have to remember, your wife's income is basically going to be going away after she has the baby if she's not going to be working. So it's up to you. So it's going to be years and years and years and years of paying off this debt. So
what were you guys leaning to before you called us? I'm curious.
We've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. We decided that we were just going to keep plugging away. I'm about to get my real estate license, so we're going to use that as income to just.
All right, I interrupted Rachel on that, so this plays into that.
Yeah. So again, I don't think there's a right or wrong here, Austin. My only hesitation or challenge, I would say to you, Austin, if you went Ken's route, because I think that's an option. That's a very reasonable option. I don't think it's extreme at all. I think if you don't see anything moving, it's going to take a lot of movement to get this debt paid off where you guys are with your income, but you're getting your real estate license, all that. So here's what I'll say. If you choose option A, Ken's choice, you're wiping it all out. You're wiping it all out without really much sacrifice. Yeah, you're selling your home, but there's not a ton of change that is occurring because you're going to get a lump sum. You're going to shift that money to the debt and it's all going to be done versus going through the process. Not that it's wrong to do that, but you guys have $25,000 in credit card debt, Austin. You guys have a car you can't afford. You took out loans for school, which again, you're normal, but you have to know that there's a level of pain I kind of want you guys to feel, because I want you to think I will never, ever, 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 ever go back. And $25,000 of credit card debt for whatever reason that you guys are in, you have to live a different life than what you've been living. And people that walk through the debt-free process, there is so much sacrifice. There is so much I hate this, I can't wait to be out, that they don't want to go back. But when people get an inheritance or the sale of their house and they get a lump sum, which is a gift, that's a blessing, to be able in one fell swoop, wipe everything out. Again, amazing. And from paper, you're going to be able to move forward quickly. But please, you and your wife have to sit down and promise each other that we're not going to get back into this, because what this debt is decisions that are made from a lifestyle perspective, especially the credit card debt, that you have to remember that. So Austin, if you guys do this and you do option A, again, great option. You have to really feel deep in your soul that our behavior has to change. We can't, because if you keep living like you've been living, there's not going to be another house that's going to wipe out the debt,
Yeah. It's interesting. You make a very good point.
But
And
the real
way,
estate
you're
license
right.
and the real estate license could be.
Yeah. I want him to go with A and take the commitment.
I think that's.
I want him to go A,
yes.
but to your point, you make a very good point. It's the right point. I didn't make it. I'm glad you did. It's right. Don't just think, oh, we wiped this out quickly, and then we're tempted to play with debt again.
Yep.
Don't do this unless you're serious about never taking on debt again. Good point. But I'd sell the house. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, America. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by Rachel Cruz, and we are here for you this hour, taking your calls about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. Those three areas tend to always be connected one way or another. 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Rachel, you ready for our question of the day?
Yep.
Our question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Neighborly has 19 service brands nationwide and a network of local service pros, Molly Maid, Mr. Rooter Plumbing, and Lawn Pride, to name just a few. Visit neighborly.com to find available service providers near you. Today's question comes from Jenny in Oregon. Oh my goodness, get out the Pepsi AC. We have over $100,000 in car loans. $55,600 on a 2019 Tundra, $36,100 on a 2016 Toyota 4Runner, $12,000 on a 2018 Honda Accord. I would like to dump $91,700 of this debt by selling the Tundra and the 4Runner. However, my husband doesn't like paying the stupid tax on it. We are very underwater on the Tundra, and I have high miles on the 4Runner. We have listed them and have had low offers, but no real bites. If we took the offers and got a loan for the difference, we could be $33,000 in the hole, but the miles keep going up on both, and I'm ready to get rid of them now. She writes in all caps. A little bit of emotion.
She's ready.
Jenny's had it.
Jenny is motivated.
She ain't happy. She says, what do you think? Should we wait for a better offer while the clock ticks on value, or cut bait now? I would like to hire Jenny as a lawyer. She's fantastic.
She's using great phrases.
She's leading us right into this, Rachel. Or should we face the stupid tax? This would free up $1,900 a month to throw at other debt. Our take home each month is approximately $10,000, and we have $277,000 in debt that does not include our home. So dumping the vehicles would be a huge, and she goes all caps here.
Huge help.
Now, I am Mr. Get rid of the cars immediately and find the cheaper car. It's like a sport for me now because I've got 3 teens.
Yeah,
I got one in a car.
And you can find them. Find the cheap cars.
And I got 2 more on the way next year, and I'm always looking.
And what do you find, Ken? What do you find?
That there are very serviceable, decent-looking cars in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
Yep.
And I'm not making this up. Now, are they higher miles? Yes. Is the carpet perfect? No.
Yep.
But I mean, look, if I'm trying to get out of debt here and I got to get from point A to point B, as I said earlier in the show, nobody cares what you're driving. And here's the other thing. If they do care, pull around back.
That's right. park somewhere else. Okay, but the low. So I was saying this on the show last week, but I had the car mom on Instagram Live with me, and
I saw that.
And she's awesome. She knows everything about cars. She's like my age, and she knows everything about cars. So she was talking about though that the high mileage myth. It's become a myth. She's like, these cars can run well beyond 200,000 miles
forever
because they are so well made.
Let me tell you this.
So the whole high mileage thing, I'm like, whatever. Like, buy the high mileage car. You're not going to be in it forever.
No.
But I would get rid of this stuff in a heartbeat. Cars make me like,
you'd sell them all. So Jenny, our answer is.
I'd rather be $33,000 in debt than $100,000 in debt.
Yeah, and she's laid it all out. Jenny, you don't need us to teach you on this one. You just wanting our approval, and
you've already paid the stupid tax by paying a car payment every month at this point. So
yeah, I think you got to sit down with the hubs, and you got to change his mind from the focus on the stupid tax to what this really does for us every month. Real numbers.
Oh my
He's worried about the stupid tax as opposed to the numbers.
$2,000 a month. All day, every day, y'all.
By the way,
all day, every day.
I'm no car mom. All right. But I will tell you, as I'm looking at cars for my kids, you have to, there's a calculated risk here, but you can get really nice luxury cars. And I'm just going to pull out a couple of brands, a Mercedes or a BMW that may only be about 10 years old, are in fantastic shape on the outside and the inside. Now, these cars do cost more to repair, so you'd have to have that emergency fund and margin. But you can buy them less than $10,000 because you know why? Because those owners of those cars are taking car payments and they're just re-upping every time the next model comes out. Their value goes down. But you could be like, I don't want to drive a beater. You could be in a nice looking Mercedes from like 2007, 2010. And again, if the previous owner took good care of them.
Sure.
And you have the emergency fund to fix them when they will run for 250, 300,000 miles.
That's right.
I'm just pointing that out.
Yep.
And you could go even cheaper on a Toyota.
Yes, like in her case, we would say, you drive the crappy car.
Right.
But to your point, even people, on baby steps 4 through 6, like if your net worth is not $1 million, that's what we always say it needs to be in order to take the hit of buying a brand new car. There are still to your point, there are still nice cars out there that are used. Like this whole idea that you can't find one.
Yeah. And you're not embarrassed, by the way, to drive up in these things.
No. Well, that and
I'm driving an older Mercedes, and you remember you saw it when I got it.
Yeah, I was like, Ken, nice car. Had no idea.
It's a 2013.
Yeah, would have no idea.
It's 10 years old. You didn't believe me when I told you.
Well, and most
it's a 10-year-old car.
And again, most people are not car people. Most people on the interstate that you're passing at 70 miles an hour, they don't know. They don't care.
I just want to point it out.
The Psychology of Money, that book, the author pointed this out, and I've never forgotten it because I'm like, it is so true. And I'm not a big car person, so it doesn't relate to me 100%. But he was like, whenever you see a cool car, you're looking at the car.
Right.
Rarely are you looking at the driver and being like, cool guy, look at him. He's awesome.
Great point.
They're just like, what year is this car, man? What did I don't know. I don't know what car things people say.
But they resent you.
But they're looking at the car.
Right. They don't like you.
They don't care about you. They're not even really looking at you, but they're looking at the cool, like, we pass an exotic car. There's an exotic car. Yeah. That passes on our street, not our neighborhood street, but like one of our main streets. And we see it and it's blue. So it's very obvious, but you'll see it kind of around. Yeah.
They usually are, by the way.
And I'm like, and the windows are tinted. So I'm like, you don't even see the person that's in there, but you see this car.
I have a confession.
Which is fine. But I'm just saying, like, again, to that point, you're driving something that people aren't even looking at you for some weird identity thing. So forget it.
I have a confession that may actually shed light on what you're saying. Or it's just going to expose me as being a jerk.
Can't wait. Okay, love Jerky Ken. Go.
When I see those kind of cars, those high-end exotic cars driving by.
What do you think, Ken?
I love Jerky Ken. It just hit me.
You judge them?
I judge the person. I go, what kind of complex are they making up for? Anybody else in the live studio audience? I see some. I immediately go, oh, you got to have the cobalt blue fancy car so that everybody in your life thinks that you're special. What are you covering up for?
What?
I don't think.
What do you need?
I want to be like that guy. Anybody else in the city? Am I the only one that thinks that way? I immediately start judging you, not respecting you.
Sure. And that's more of the
window.
crazy exotic. But if you see like a new escalators,
I'm
you're not
only
thinking that.
No. I'm talking about
extreme,
your neighbor.
Yeah,
he's got the
it's not my neighbor, but it's the like.
Oh, sorry, I've just offended your neighbors.
No,
but the point is, the exotic car, the tinted windows, it's really loud.
Yes.
It's like, look at me. That's what I think of that person.
I know. Or I just think.
So to your point, what's the real reward? Like
right.
if you're taking it out on the racetrack and you got god awful amounts of money,
and that's probably maybe
that's
what
one
it
thing.
is. Sure.
But just like you're stuck with a $1,200 car payment.
Probably more for these kind of
$1,500. Yeah. It's like what's the whole point? You are driving something that's losing value every time you burn rubber, pal.
Right. Absolutely.
I know. I don't know. There's some nice cars out there,
and I love a nice car. So don't get me wrong. I know. I think it's great.
You were griping about your minivan, though, the other day on social media.
I wasn't griping. I just said I acknowledge that I drive a minivan. And every time I do, my soul does die a little bit because it's a minivan.
All right,
but
folks,
it's fine.
I've been waiting for this moment to
great.
confront you on this. I tried to talk you out of it.
No, I don't want to be talked out of it.
No, but you said your soul dies when you get in the minivan.
A little bit.
Get a Suburban.
No, because
Same concept.
No, because the minivan is it's amazing.
I disagree.
You sit in that minivan, Ken.
No.
And you have 3 freaking small children that take a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and do this and rub it on the seats. I don't want a Suburban.
All right, thank you. I gotta have time for a rebuttal.
That's a third of the cost of a freaking SUV.
Stacey and I had
Those
3
SUVs
kids.
are insane. And one day I will.
3 kids. Hold on. We had 3 kids, and never once did I go, gosh, I wish the door slid open.
Yes, you did,
No,
Stacey.
it's a marketing ploy.
No.
Please, get you some captain chairs.
No.
You're fine.
When those doors open and slam, no.
No, not at all. Nobody cares. Sliding door, it's a myth. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back, America. You have joined the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. She is Rachel Cruz. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. And I've got something I got to tell you about. Where is that? Oh, yes, here we go. I'm in the middle. I'm landing the plane, if you will. I've got 3 classes left on my Financial Peace University class.
Oh, yeah.
All
How's
of the
it
Ramsey
going?
personalities are coordinated class. It's great fun. I've got the Wednesday, Friday night group. So, like, after today's show, I'll get a little bit of green tea with honey, get my energy up, rest my voice. Got to get home. We do it on the back patio with the wooden American flag behind me.
Oh, that's fun.
Thank you very much.
Love
and
that.
Great crowd. I mean, these people signed up for a Wednesday night and a Friday night.
Yeah,
I get the
intense.
Wednesday night, but Friday night FPU class, we're having a party.
People getting out of debt,
we're having a party.
they're hanging around.
It's fantastic.
They're not going out on Friday night. They're
Well, let me tell you
saving
something.
their money.
It works. The class works, and it's just got an unbelievable track record. Because we have a lot of people that are coming in new to the show, Rachel. As you know, you see the numbers. So exciting to see more and more people discovering the show via podcast, via YouTube, and learning about the process. They listen to the calls, but they haven't truly decided to jump in yet. You know, you're learning about what to do with your money based on how we teach, but you haven't believed it and started doing it. And as Dave has said, for decades, personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. So the proven way to change your behavior is through the knowledge, but also the community and the accountability of a Financial Peace University class. It is the difference between trying to get in shape on your own versus hiring a trainer. So it's worked for millions. It's a 9-week commitment, and you'll never handle money the same way again. Don't just listen to the show. Commit to doing what it takes to win by joining an FPU class at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Laura is up next in Salem, Oregon. Laura, how can we help?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Nice to be able to talk to you guys. So I read Total Money Makeover years ago before the pandemic and started focusing on paying off my $200,000+ in student loans. Then the pandemic hit. Yeah. Then the pandemic hit and I kind of fell off the focus wagon, but luckily I had my auto savings set up. So I stopped making payments to my student loans, but set everything up to auto save. So I'm now to the point where I can, between my savings and my investments that I've been playing with over the last few years, I can, by the end of this summer, I should be able to pay off all my student loans.
Wow.
Good job.
200,000. That's amazing.
I was paying on them. I mean, I've been out of school for 14 years, so it's been taking. It's a lot. It's not just in the last year. I'm down to 149 right now.
Good for you.
And so it's been a long process, but. And I don't have any credit card debt. I do have a loan on my solar panels, but that's it. And then my mortgages. So my question is, I have a primary mortgage and then I also have a rental house. And I know you guys always say to sell the rental, but the rental was purchased for my mother and my sister because they were getting priced out of their rent. And so my mom has since passed and now it's just my sister on her own in my rental house. She has been diligently paying me, and I get about $400 a month income past the mortgage from that every month. So I don't want to kick her out and sell it. So I just need to know which one I should focus on first, the rental or my primary, as far as paying off once I'm done with my student loans this summer.
Okay, so once you pay off your loans, how much is the solar panels?
Like $30,000.
30, okay.
They do offset my power bill. So it's not, I mean, yes, it's a loan, but it's not costing me anything.
So yeah, because you're not paying utilities and stuff.
Correct.
Is what you're saying. But you are having to pay monthly payments.
Right. So instead of paying a utility bill every month, I pay the solar panel.
Right. But you had to, but that is debt though. I mean, you still, yes,
Correct.
I hear what you're saying, but that
so
you still
getting paid off next.
Yes, that's, yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure we're on the same page there. Okay. Yeah. So I honestly, Laura, I mean, we teach smallest to largest. So whenever you cash out, you said you had some investments. Are they non-retirement?
Correct. Yeah, okay. I have about $500,000 in retirement 401k.
Oh, good for you.
I've been maxing that out since I got out of school.
Okay, good for you. How much is in the other investments?
So I got about $77,000 in my other investments, and I've got $66,000 just in a high interest savings.
Okay.
So together I've got 143, but by the end of the summer I should have the 149.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I would lump those solar panels into, that would be the next thing I would. And technically with the debt snowball, knock out the solar panels and then have some of the student loans left to then knock out, as the year goes on. How much money do you make a year?
About 145.
Okay.
Not counting any overtime.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I would go ahead and get the solar panels out of the way so that monthly payment that's going to the solar panels and not having to pay utilities, that you have that so that you can, that's extra cash too to throw at the student loans. So I would knock out that smallest one first, the $30,000, pay off the student loans. Then once you're done there, save up that emergency funds, and then you're still funding retirement. How would you feel about pausing retirement?
That makes me nervous. Yeah. So I did.
How much a month is going to retirement?
15% is going to my 401k.
Okay.
And that maxes out usually in August or October, And so actually what I did when I saw how close I was to being able to pay off these student loans, I backed off my retirement investment for the summer so that I can take that money and put towards this and then back up after the student loans are
You have $500,000 in retirement. You're doing great. If you paused for a year, you're doing great. Because we want to free up as much cash as possible to get all of this paid off. And again, I'm not talking yet your mortgage, but even just this, because you'll still have some consumer debt left or some of the student loans left even after you cash out everything and with the solar panels. So if I were you, Laura, I would pause everything. And I know you hate that and that's so scary, but you're doing fine. You're doing great.
I also have a 14-year-old that's starting high school that I need to put some money aside for college.
Yes. And you will do all of that.
I got lots of buckets to put money in.
I know. And that's what's hard, Laura, is you're trying to do it all. Where I want you to focus on one thing, and I want you to focus on getting these solar panels and this student loan paid off. Everything needs to pause. Yes.
What's the rental situation? Can I stick my nose in this? What are the numbers really quick on the rental?
So I owe $130, and it's probably worth about $250. I get $1,200 a month rent, and the payment's only $800.
I'd sell the rental tomorrow. I'd list it tomorrow.
My sister is living in it.
Well, she can live somewhere else.
Not for that price, honestly. Honestly, she can't rent for that.
I understand.
I've got a good price.
I understand, but look what you could do. If you could sell it for $250, it's worth $130. Take away the realtor's fees on there. We're talking about a massive life change. You got too much debt to have a rental.
What's your you're.
Just what we teach. You should not have this rental given the debt you've got.
So I bought the rental originally for my mother who passed in 2021. She was being priced out of her rent. I basically forced her to retire because of medical things, and so she was living on Social Security. And the option was for her to live with me or to find her a place that I could basically. All
right, real quick, because we don't have a lot of time. I got to cut you off because are you single, married? What's your situation?
I am single.
Listen to me. I would sell the house, the rental, and sister can come live with you and pay you some rent. You're going to get this whole. Well, okay, here's the deal.
Laura, you don't need. Okay,
I love my family.
You don't need a rental.
Does your sister, is she not able to work?
Oh, she's working. Yes, she's paying the full.
Then she's a grown woman.
I know, Laura. There might be some.
You could be. Oh my gosh, I'd sell this rental, Rachel.
I hear your heart in it, Laura, and I think it's okay to help, but also we want you to win, Laura. And your sister may have to make some hard grown-up decisions on her own too, and you not having to be the one caretaking that for her. So
I just want you to wrestle with this question. How would selling that rental change your financial picture? Wrestle with that, then decide what you want to do. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by Rachel Cruz this hour. The phone number for you to jump in and talk about your life, specifically your money, your relationships, and your work is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Bryce joins us now in Columbia, Missouri. Bryce, how can we help?
Okay. Thank you for taking my call, guys. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
Okay, so I'm a junior at the University of Missouri studying finance and investment banking. Basically, what my question is what can I do to be more competitive in the job market since I'm attending a non-target school? These jobs usually recruit from Ivy League schools like that. Because I'm going to be graduating with in between $120,000 and $130,000 in student loan debt. Now, I've already taken some steps to, help me when I get out. I'm in the KPMG Financial Advising Accelerator.
Okay, good.
So I have that on my resume already.
Is that
I'm
what specifically are you looking for?
I just basically want to be able to be on par with Ivy League students, because I have a mountain of debt that I'm going to have to
No. I'm sorry. It was a bad question on my part. What are you looking for? Financial advising, investments? Like what's the specific lane, that seat on the bus you're wanting to land?
I would say financial advising. That's what I'm mostly looking for right now.
Okay, gotcha. Well, it's a good question. I understand the question. I will tell you that anybody that claims to say, well, there's a very clear answer to that, I think they'd be wrong. This is going to be just straight opinion.
Okay.
I will tell you that you, the candidate, are what they are looking at more than the name on your diploma. Now that's not true across the board. I mean, that you could talk to 10 hiring managers and 8 would agree with me, or 2 wouldn't, or 5 would, and they might say, well, if you're from an Ivy League school, I'm going to pay attention to that. That may be true, but I will tell you, getting into the initial interview process, it won't have any effect at all. If you're just going to apply the old school way, which is I'm going to put a resume in, and I'm going to go into the system, then I can tell you at the level you're going in, they are using artificial intelligence to pre-screen candidates. It just, on some level, you're dealing with that. So the Ivy League thing, is it going to stand out more or not? I don't know that there's a whole lot of evidence that says it does. It might open a door, but I don't believe it's going to win you the job. So here's the advantage that I will tell you that I believe you can have. Relationships. So let's just say you want to go work for KPMG, just using them, their big time firm. All right. So you identify a job for KPMG that you want, and you're up against, Ivy Leaguers. What will make the difference is if you have a relationship connection. You may have a 1-to-1, or it may be 1-to-3. What I mean by 1-to-3 is I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody over there, and they are making a call on your behalf, emailing on your behalf. They are submitting your resume with a letter of recommendation to say, I know Bryce. Bryce just graduated from boom, and this is what his GPA is, and this is what he's done. And they are presenting you with their credibility. That, I think, is the only viable competitive advantage that you can have over an Ivy Leaguer if you have the same degrees and virtually similar GPAs. I think it's going to come down to relationships where someone's vouching for you, and that goes a long way. Go ahead.
I said, so basically networking, getting to know people who already work there. That way it gets me past the AI screening process.
100%. You're still going to go through the AI because you're still going to have to go through the formal application process. But the point is now you're seen. If you just go through the AI thing, you don't know what AI is looking for. That company's not going to tell you what they're looking for on the resume. So it's a relationship situation. So for instance, you want to be thinking about your local connections. Guys and gals that you know that are in this field, do they know somebody? You see where I'm going here? Like, you've got to start digging. Now, that's for the competitive advantage. How do I be more competitive? That works, by the way, whether I'm competing against an Ivy Leaguer or not.
Relationships and referrals. I'm like, that will get your thing pulled out of a stack.
That's the idea.
Because there's an actual person, like what Ken's saying, that's looking at it and that knows your name.
But I also want to encourage you. The course that you're taking now, above and beyond your schooling, anything like that, any additional qualifications, certifications, any of that, I'd stack all of those. Those are worth the time and the effort. As long as you're not going into debt to pay for these things, these are all going to be valuable. But it's all about relationships. I'll tell you what, hang on the line. I'm going to give you a copy of my book, The Proximity Principle, which is a deep dive on this. The power of proximity is just simply this. When I'm around the people that are doing what I want to do and I'm in the places where that's being done, opportunities will come to me. And so this is about the right people, the right place. It's a deep dive, super easy to read. Hang on the line. It's a bit of a guidebook for this very thing, making the right connections so that opportunities actually come to you. Let's go now to Jake in the Twin Cities. I always love, do you know the Twin Cities? Putting you on the spot.
St. Paul, Minneapolis.
There you go, folks.
Yes.
Don't mess with Rachel on the basic trivia, folks. She's got it. Jake, how can we help?
Yeah, thank you so much for taking my call this morning. This afternoon.
You bet.
Yeah.
My wife and I just had a baby about 6 months ago.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you have a minivan, Jake?
We don't have a minivan, and we don't have any plans to, but
good for you, Jake. Hold strong.
Fine, Jake.
Stay strong, Jake.
That is part of the reason I'm calling is because before having a child, my wife worked, and now after having our child, my wife decided to be a stay-at-home mom. And we decided a couple of years ago, to buy a truck. And before we started listening to Dave Ramsey, we took out a loan on it. We've been pretty smart in all the other things. So the only loans that we have is this truck loan and our mortgage. We're trying to decide if we should pay off the loan with our savings, sell the truck, and maybe buy a beater car, or continue to, try to take every single penny that we have and kind of go gazelle intense and trying to pay off the truck with new cash coming in.
How much do you guys make a year?
So I do software sales, so I make $100,000 base, but last year I probably did about $200,000.
Oh, good for you, Jake. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How much is left on the car loan?
It's about $29,000.
$29,000. What do you guys have in savings?
Yep. Yeah, so for cash, we have about $50,000 in cash, but that would deplete our 6 month emergency savings, which I put aside quite a bit just because we wanted to make sure that we had enough, having a little one and my wife not working anymore. We wanted to have 6 months worth of savings instead of 3 months, and so that's most of our 6 months worth of savings there.
Okay. I would sell the truck and buy a minivan. No, I'm just kidding, Jake. I would take the savings and I'd pay off.
Not a bad idea.
And I would pay off the truck. I would pay it off. And then and you guys have plenty of cash. You're in a very stable job, right? If you were transitioning jobs or there was big stuff happening, then I feel like it'd be like, okay, yes, having a lot of money in the bank, like, okay, that could be really scary. But you guys are fine, Jake. Yeah. You're fine. I would totally take that, pay off the truck, bump it back up to 6 months, which your income is fabulous. So you guys are going to be able to do that really quickly. And then just work yourself down the baby steps. So if I were you today, I'd just pay it off.
What kind of truck is it?
It's a Ford F-150.
And it's got the extended cab?
Oh, yeah. It's got all the fun features and all the other fun
and you make a good income. So your truck is not out of proportion to you guys. So
pay it off. And I just want to point out to Rachel that you have the F-150 with the extended cab and the baby seat goes fine in there. And you're fine.
You have the carrier, Jake, don't you? You have the carrier. You
don't need sliding doors. Jake's strong. He can put the baby in the back. It's going to be okay.
Stay-at-home mom. You got to build that muscle. I'm telling you.
Boy.
Jake, pay it off. Have a great weekend with a debt-free
that's
home.
Awesome.
And a heartbeat, I would. But
and a paid-off truck.
Paid off truck. That's what I mean. I appreciate the caution. Right, new baby, life is shifting. I get it. You guys are good. You're in a very stable position job-wise. You'll get that emergency fund back up.
That truck payment is a raise.
Yes.
That's coming right back to you, to Rachel's point.
That's right.
So really nothing to be afraid of. Good logic, but you're okay. Pay that truck off and don't buy the minivan. Rachel Cruz, great hour. Thanks for being with me. James Childs and the crew keeping us on the air. And you, America, even those that drive a minivan, we love you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. This is the Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, specifically your money, your relationships, and your work. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by the fabulous, the incomparable Rachel Cruz this hour. You like that?
That was great. Great word.
Yeah.
Great adjective.
Yeah, there you go. I studied all day for that. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. And Rachel and I would love to help you. We really enjoy this, and we have so many new people coming in all the time. And so I want to point out two things. If you're new to the show and you're trying to figure out some of the language we use, we're talking about baby steps and then the different numbers and all that. I want to make sure that you know that we have a Get Started button at RamseySolutions.com. That's the mothership, the website there. And you can just take just a few minutes, a brief survey, and we kind of let you know where you are in this journey that we call financial peace and the baby steps. And you get caught up pretty quick. And now you feel like, okay, I understand how all this works, because quite frankly, we challenge you with some pretty countercultural ideas about money. And so we want to get you caught up. So go do that. It's the Get Started button at RamseySolutions.com. All right, let's do what we're here to do, is just encourage and coach people. Audrey's up next in Chicago, Illinois. Audrey, how can we help?
Hi, my husband and I, thank you for taking my call, first of all.
Of course.
My husband and I live in our home that we paid off about 6 years ago. And shortly after that, we purchased an apartment because my daughter was paying a ridiculous amount of rent in the city. So we thought, why don't we buy something and have her rent it? So she did. So I think we're about a little bit over halfway done paying that. And late last year, I lost my job, and we purchased a property that we wanted for planning towards our future, which for our retirement, because we live in the Midwest and it's cold, so we want to go somewhere warm because I have some health issues. So anyway, long story short, I'm wondering if we would be better off selling the apartment that we have, the condo, and having less debt, because now I feel like I'm not used to having any debt. And so I'm wondering if we have taken on too much.
Well, let's run through the numbers real quick for Rachel, and she'll walk you through this. So how much do we owe on the apartment condo?
$80,000.
What's it worth?
It's probably worth $175,000.
Good. And then what's the other property? Is that just dirt somewhere where it's warm, or does it include a house? What is that?
It's a condo.
Oh, so we have an apartment and a condo.
And you have both.
Well,
okay.
Two condos. We have one condo in the city that pretty much pays for itself.
Gotcha.
My daughter
Sure.
graduated school, and now she's our renter. So that property pays for itself.
Okay, I know it pays for itself. How much is that, though?
We financed it for 15 years, and the mortgage payment is $1,020.
Okay, how much do you owe on that condo?
$80,000.
That's the one she gave me
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, the
That's
first one.
yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah, but I got us all confused because I didn't understand. So you have a second condo, and give us the numbers on that
one.
second condo.
Yes.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah.
The second one we owe $130,000.
Mm-hmm. What's it worth?
And it's probably worth $230,000.
And what is your monthly payment on that?
The monthly payment on that is, well, we don't know yet because that one is being built.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't taken out a loan on it yet, but it's out of the country, and we were required to pay half up front. Now, that being said,
okay, hold on. I just want to make sure that we've got all the numbers. So you put down half of the $130,000?
No, it was actually $250,000.
Okay.
But we put half down.
But you put $130,000 down.
That's what I'm saying.
You paid $130,000, but you took a loan out for the $130,000.
We have not yet. We have to do that once it's done being built because.
All right, so here's what I'm asking, Audrey. Have you put any money towards this condo that's out of the country? We've been calling it Condo 2. Have you put any money?
Yes.
How much did you put down?
$130,000.
Okay, that's what. All right, so okay, and it's worth $230,000 if I heard you correctly.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's worth about between $230,000 and $250,000.
Okay.
But the $130,000 though, Audrey, was a loan you guys took out.
No.
It was cash.
When I got let go from my job, I got a severance package, and I said, it's not making any money in the bank. We need to start planning for retirement, so let's invest it in something.
Gotcha. I got you.
And you have no other debt.
Everything else is paid for.
Everything else is paid for.
Okay. And how much do you guys make a year?
Well, before it used to be $200, but now it's cut in half because I'm not working.
Okay. So $100 grand a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how soon are you guys to retirement? How soon will you guys be actually utilizing this condo? Number 2.
Probably in like 7 years.
Okay. And you plan
we have the option to rent it.
Okay, but you plan on using it within the 7 years, but you think, will you be there full time? Will you sell the home that you guys currently have to go to this condo full time, or will you keep both? Was your plan?
Well, we've thought about actually selling our house and then maybe getting a townhouse or something to not have to worry about the maintenance. But for now, with the housing market, I've been told that it's not to our benefit to do that. So we're fine in our house now, but I don't know what our plan is for the future.
Yep. And then the other 130 is going to be due when?
Next, probably next summer.
Next summer. So a year from now.
Yeah, and we've been looking at options on how we're going to finance that, whether to do a HELOC or I think there are a couple of options, a HELOC or I forgot what the other one is called.
Man, Audrey, and how much do you guys have in retirement?
In my 401k, I have over $1 million, probably 1.2, I think.
Okay.
And my husband probably is close to $1 million.
Wow. And your primary home is paid off?
Yeah.
Yeah, our property home is paid off.
And sorry, you guys are how old? All the numbers, but it helps with the retirement and everything, taking it out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm 54, and my husband is 57.
Okay. So you guys are,
And our home is paid off. And
I mean, your net worth, your overall picture, Audrey, you guys can afford this. You can, is what I'm saying. I just want you guys to be able to start to save and do what you can in the next year to be able to not only just cash flow this 130, but gosh, I would almost pay off this other apartment first.
I don't think they can cash flow it. If I heard you right, Audrey, you're not going to be able to cash flow this out-of-country condo. Is that
for
right?
The 130.
Huh?
I know, but when he turns 50, yeah.
I'm selling.
Which one? Condo A or Condo B?
I'm going to try to get out of Condo B.
I think Condo B. I think you guys will have other options. I know. That's my other thing.
So if they can't get their money back, I'm selling Condo A, and I'm going to pay off Condo B like it's
with that.
like my
but if you
life
can get out of
depended on
Condo
it.
B, I would, Audrey, because in the next 4 years, you guys may even switch locations of where you want to be, considering it's an out-of-the-country destination. So
if you can't get out of it, sell the first condo. Your daughter can rent somewhere else. Attack that. I mean, that's going to come up with most of the 130 you're going to owe. And you guys hustle to pay that off. You do not want to be in debt for that. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm joined by Rachel Cruz. We're here to help you win in your money, your work, and in your relationships so that you live the life that you want to live. There's peace and freedom when you are in control of those decisions, and you can be. So excited to have you with us. 888-825-5225 is the number. 888-825-5225. Okay, Rachel, I've got a fun treat for you here. I don't know if you... I love the Realtor.com, the Zillows.
Oh, yeah.
I always like looking at the local real estate market, largely because I want to see what the trends are doing and
Yeah.
and I get a little house itch every once in a while. I don't act on it.
But you see what's out there, Ken.
I'm known to get a little house itch. And, some people look at cars all the time. I'm looking at houses all the time. And so this story got my attention, and I thought it would be fun for our audience. Now, for our podcast listening audience, the radio and all that, you need to go to YouTube a little bit later this afternoon or later this week if you want to see this segment, because we've got some pictures. This is a visual segment. And so I've got an article here in my hands. And the headline is Zillow Gone Wild. I love doing that sound. James hates it, and that's partly why I do it. Zillow Gone Wild. Broker make Jared Hewitt's Oklahoma City home listing viral. Yeah, go ahead.
Who's Jared Hewitt?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, good. Just making sure he's not obvious.
No, I do know who he is.
Oh.
He's the owner of this home.
That's who he is.
But
Perfect.
I don't know anything.
So make sure we're all on the same page.
Is he anything other than the owner of this home? Do we know?
Austin?
Guys? Austin? We
don't know.
Okay, great.
Okay, good. Just double checking.
But I love that you asked that.
Voiceover actor that
really?
worked for Disney Channel. Okay, that's what Austin's
good
telling
for
us.
Jared, and he's done quite well.
Well done,
He's
Jared.
done well. He's done well. So this has gone viral, and it's I guess it's it was posted on Zillow Gone Wild. Okay, and that's a site, I guess, and it featured this home. Okay, it's got 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, and magic in every room. I don't know who wrote that, but that's kind of interesting. I got questions. It's listed for $1,593,000 or, Rachel, $2,450,000 if you keep the furnishings.
So close to another million with the furnishings.
Absolutely. So anyway, this realtor says...
Do we know how big it is?
I don't see square footage.
Oh, I see down here. It's 4,800.
4,800 square feet.
Almost 5,000. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. All right. So can we show the pictures, guys? Here we go. Now wow. Now that looks like the dining room to me.
And there we've got. So unfortunate.
I will tell you that I'm immediately feeling dizzy.
I know.
I have a hint of dizziness. Look at that living room.
And can we just talk about the filter on these pictures that really brings out the primary colors, Ken?
Now, see, I needed someone of your ilk to explain that to me. I would have thought that's what it looks like. You're saying that's a filter?
No, it probably looks like it, but you can tell it's a exaggerate.
All right, I want to talk about this right quick. I want to talk about the zebra print around the mirror. And then it looks like we've got some type of a horse. So this guy was a Disney writer. So this is clearly the home of someone who is very, very creative. But what's interesting, the contrast there is the giant elk horns or whatever those were with the zebra print. So I don't know if this is a hunter.
Yeah, we're mixing
or if we've got a
animal
theme.
print. It's not good.
It looks like a unicorn.
It's unfortunate.
We got some, what do you call those? Skinny pyramids?
I don't even know, Ken. But who's going to pay another $1 million for that stuff?
Well, see, now
I'm
there's...
so sorry, Jared.
I'm with you. I'm glad you said
Jared,
it.
I bet you're a wonderful
I don't
human
want
being.
any of that
I
furniture.
just don't agree with the style, your style, Jared.
It's too much.
You do you, Jared, and we'll see if someone pays an extra $1 million for all this. And in Oklahoma City, too. That's the thing. Like, you put it in L.A. or something, I'm like, maybe
I feel
we
like
can go there.
that's what happened. I feel like Jared and his whoever...
Oh, Jared can't. Yeah, he did.
You know what he did?
He came from L.A. He came from Southern California.
He did.
To Oklahoma City to save on taxes. I bet we could paint Jared's whole story right now.
Well, he's a Disney writer. So he thought, you know what? I've got family in Oklahoma City. We're going to save a lot of money.
He grew up there.
His mom's there.
Wanted to come back.
Creative place. And then he goes, wait a second. I got unicorns. I got zebra print. I got all kinds of crystals and a lot of movement in that house. It made me a little bit dizzy. And then I think he said, but I'm in Oklahoma City, so I need some elk horns as a chandelier. I think that's what happened. Now, anyway, this has gone viral because of how magical supposedly it is. So here's some of the comments. All right. People love it or hate it, as you might suspect. It looks like it could... Oh, wait, I'm going to save that one. Sorry. The only place I could possibly relax is the pool. I felt the same thing.
Yep.
Visually, I was tired.
Whew, it's a lot of brain calories.
Here's another person that's in my camp. My eyes hurt and may never be the same after that one.
It's so obnoxious. I can almost hear the photos. That's pretty accurate.
I can't tell if I just had a full-blown anxiety attack or if it cured my anxiety. That's interesting. And then my personal favorite... It looks like it could double as Willy Wonka's opium den. Wow!
So here's the
Willy Wonka on the opiums. Woo! It was a little strange.
Because here's the thing about your primary home, unless you have like
there is a point to this.
God-ending amounts of money that you can just do truly whatever you want, and you're not having to worry about any effects of any result of your choices when it comes to your home. Just know any property that you buy that is unique and weird, it's because it's unique and weird. And the resale on that, the people that are going to be interested in that, your funnel just went so slim to be able to resell something like that. And now this, hopefully, it didn't look like weird architecture. It's just weird decor.
We didn't see. All we saw was the inside of the house.
Yeah, so maybe it's not a strange home. Maybe when you walk inside,
somebody
it's like
referenced
just crazy.
that the only place they would be able to relax is the pool. So apparently the outside, the pool is normal.
Looks normal, yeah.
But
so
to
just
your
know
point,
when you go and purchase a home, you guys,
very nice.
if it's
there's the pool.
Symmetrical. Yes, it's great. Visually wonderful. But when you go and purchase a home, you know, can people think like, oh yeah, there's like this really cool, like unique thing here or there, or the way it's laid. Like if it's weird, just it's a red flag. And again, if you're not worried about resell at all, and you can just go right in and do you, and that's what you want, like go for it.
I don't think you sell that house unless you remodel it. I really don't. How many people on the planet want to live in that house?
I know. If you have a vision for it, if you can walk in and like.
How can you have a vision?
I don't know.
It's like looking at a kaleidoscope. You remember those when you were a kid? For those of you who are listening via podcast or radio, this house looks like a kaleidoscope.
And here's another tip. When you're selling, you want it to be bare. You truly want visually it to be where someone can picture themselves in the home, right? Like, that's like real estate 101. That's just real estate 101.
Yeah.
And they've done the opposite. They've filled every ounce of every wall and floor
advertised
and everything.
It looks like one of those Magic Eye pictures from the 90s.
It does.
What?
Magic Eye, where you have to stare at the weird pattern.
Yeah. Like, how many things can you find in the picture?
And then you close your eyes and you see Jesus like in the dots.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. And then for a cool
they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. For a cool 1.1 million more, you get the crystal horse and all the other weird-looking triangles. I don't know what else to call those.
I don't know.
Pyramids?
Let's just learn from old Jared's life choices, everyone.
Of course, Jared may be laughing all the way to the bank when somebody
Jared
rolls in
Jared
with
may not care.
$2.4 million and said, I'll take it all, please. I mean, wow. It can't be good for the brain to walk into that house. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, where do you...
Stressful.
Well, but the pool area was very nice.
Very, very nice.
Maybe they're going to work on the pool next.
When you guys moved, did y'all look at any homes that you were like, ooh, weird layout, strange?
Nothing that I would call... that would make it into the weird category, but certainly not efficient. Like, that's really... Like, why would you do that? And see, that's the other thing. If you build a custom home, you may have some preferences, but you got to think about it. This is really kind of out of the ordinary. It could affect you.
Absolutely.
Because people walk in and go, this makes zero sense.
Yes, but it did for this one person, one time on the planet.
When you guys just built a house, how stressful was that, making decisions
3 years ago? Yeah, I mean, but we're pretty simple. I mean, I would say
you kept it simple to where you go, and you're in a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
You didn't stress about a lot of those decisions.
No. It was pretty textboook, I would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, because you haven't invited me over.
You've been to our house.
Not the new one.
What?
Well, I'm just going to leave that right there.
I haven't been to your new one either, Ken. All right, we'll see
Yes,
his
you
friends.
have.
No,
you were
I
there
have
for
not.
the Christmas party.
Oh, shoot. With the personality.
Yeah, glad to know it was memorable.
A work party.
Glad to know you
Thanks
enjoyed
for inviting me to
time.
your work party, work friends.
Oh, folks, we actually do like each other. There's more show coming up. Welcome back, America. You are joining the conversation about your life, your money, your work, your relationships here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruz joins me. And we were having fun last segment talking about this Zillow Gone Wild house. And the real point of featuring that, Rachel, is because you got to be smart with such an expensive investment like your house. And we want to make sure that you're thinking through, if you're going to resell, if you buy and you had to move, what is needing to be considered here when you make a purchase like this. And that's why we recommend that you work with our trusted Ramsey real estate pros. These folks are really experienced, they're skilled, they know their market. And what does that do for you? It makes sure that you can navigate things like higher interest rates, buying a new home in a new part of the country. You've got to have that trusted real estate agent to make sure that you're making a good decision. So if you're ready to buy, don't let interest rates hold you back. You can find the right home for you and your family. Team up with a top agent who will help you navigate the local market by going to RamseySolutions.com/agent. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. Jackson joins us now in Columbia, South Carolina. Jackson, how can we help?
Hello, how are you guys?
We're having a blast. What's going
on? Thanks for having me on. I just have a personal and financial situation. Wanted to get some advice or guidance from you guys.
Okay.
Like you guys know what you're talking about.
All right, go for it.
So I recently opened a business early January of this year. So I'm pretty new to it. It's only been about 6 months. But I've just been kind of looking at the numbers, and it doesn't seem, obviously I know it's still early in the business, but I can just already tell early on that it's probably not going to be a long-term solution for me.
What is the business?
So I own a mattress store.
Okay.
Did you buy it? Did you buy it or did you start it from?
So I'm in a franchise.
Okay.
Most of the initial expenses I paid for out of pocket.
Okay.
I did take out a business loan for $15,000. I know it's that loan's now down to about $10,000. I'm probably looking to get out of the business as soon as I can, just because I don't want to waste time. If I don't feel like it's going to work out, I definitely don't want to keep digging myself into a hole.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted some advice as far as so currently I have about $11,000 in student loan debt. That plus the business loans, my total, I don't have any credit card expenses or anything like that.
Good.
I'm about 95% done with my college degree, so I was just wondering if it would be a wise decision to finish school and get my degree probably over the second half of this year. So by the time my lease ends on my building, by the time my lease ends, I'd have a degree, but that would probably put me in another $5,000-6,000 debt as far as student loans go. Or if it would be a better decision to hold off on the degree and kind of tackle my debt at like a job without the degree before I kind of move forward.
Yeah, I at this point, you're 95% done with school, so I would finish school, but I absolutely would press pause because, again, it's going to be there, and you only have 5% to go. I don't want you going into any further debt because right now, in the grand scheme of things, to only have $11,000 in student loan debt, my friend, you're in really good shape. So many people in this country are just absolutely buried in student loan debt. So this is very, very doable to get out quickly with your earning potential. And I want you to get out of the business loan as well. When you say get out of that, what's that going to look like? Is that selling your franchise to someone else?
So I know it's a new location. I've built it up pretty well. I definitely have some my sales trend is been pretty consistent. I'm sitting around like $10,000 a month with about 50% gross profit margin. So I'm pretty much pulling in probably about $1,500 to $2,500 a month after I pay everything.
Okay.
I don't see like a path for it to kind of exponentially take off where it's doubling or tripling that.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as getting out, I kind of just want to be done with this by the time my lease ends.
I understand.
January.
What I'm asking is, I'm not privy to the franchise that you bought into. So I'm asking, how do you exit? Do you have to sell that franchise to someone else? Or do you just say, I'm shutting down?
Just close doors.
So you'll close doors.
Sir.
Okay, so you're clearing, you said $1,500 a month, roughly? $1,500 to $2,000 a month, I heard?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are you needing to live off of that, or is that just the business itself is spitting off that much profit after all my expenses?
That's how much the business is spitting off, and then I'm also using that kind of to live off of as well.
Oh, okay. Well, how many hours are you putting into this business yourself?
I'm probably spending about like 50, 60 hours a week here. I definitely think I'm going to have to get a part-time job to kind of help, support myself for at least the next.
All right. Well, the reason I ask you all this stuff is because if you didn't need, you're putting in too many hours, 50 to 60 hours a week. You don't have a whole lot of margin left, although you can bust it. If it were me, I'd probably shut it down now, and I would just attack the loan just like I would. I'd put it in your personal snowball. We teach a debt snowball. It's baby step 2, and so we go smallest to largest. So as I'm looking at the numbers, $10K on the mattress store and $11K in student loan. And I'm going to actually go ahead and cut my losses now. You're not, there's
you could
no
be spending
long-term
those 60
50
hours
to 60 hours
somewhere
making,
else.
Right.
Making
good money.
Double, maybe even triple that. So how old are you, Jackson?
I'm 24.
24. Okay. What's your degree in? Or I know you haven't, I know you didn't technically get it because you still have.
My degree is in public health. I probably wouldn't choose a degree again. I have much respect for everyone who's in any kind of healthcare career. I just know probably wasn't the smartest choice, but I was young. And
how much more money to finish that?
Say what now?
How much more money to finish this 5% that's left on this degree?
It'll probably be about $5-6 grand.
Yeah, I got to tell you.
And I'm not, Ken, you may disagree with me on this. We'll see. Jackson, if I were you, I would just go get any job that I possibly could. I would be working extra. I mean, I would do anything just because the amount of hours that you're working, again, you could be bringing in double this. You could have this debt knocked out in a year. I mean, if you're making 50, 60
way
grand.
Sooner than that.
Yeah.
Way
So
sooner than that.
Go ahead and just clear all this, work in a job that's not your favorite, maybe not even in the line of work, but it's paying your bills to get you through school. And by the time you're 28, Jackson, you'll have a degree, you'll have no debt, and you'll be able then to make career choices that you actually want to make. But if I were you, I would just go find any job I could.
Yep.
And I'd be working extra. Are you single?
I am.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would be working nights. I mean, anything, Jackson, because once you clean all this up and once you save up that money to get that degree, and you'll be working while you're in school too, you're still so young, which is so encouraging that you could still be in your mid to late 20s to find the career path that you want.
I completely agree. And here's why. I think you need this time to figure out what path you want to take. Now, you may know what path you want to take. We're about a minute and a half from a break, so I can't dig into that piece. I'm going to give you some free tools, though. But Rachel's right. If you get a $20 an hour job, that's what that's what you're aiming for. Minimum $20 an hour. That's just before taxes. That's $1,000 a week. If working 50 hours, you're going to knock this debt out in about 5-6 months if you really get after it. And now that we've got a game changer, now we get to cash flow to finish the degree. If you really want to finish it, it gives you that college degree. You don't have to go into that field. You're so close. I'd go ahead and do it. I'm not a fan of college degrees that we're not going to use. However, it won't hurt you. I'd go ahead and finish. And I would be thinking about what is it that I want to do with my life. You've got an entrepreneurial spirit. I can hear that. And I think you got to come up with the next idea. And if you got to work in the field for a while to learn the ins and outs and then decide to step out, cash from here on out. And I think you're going to get out of this thing relatively pain-free. But Rachel's absolutely right. Let's just go get a good paying job, crush the debt, come up with the $5 to $6 grand to finish the degree, and then let's just move forward in our life. Hang on the line. Austin, let's get him the assessment, the Get Clear assessment, help him get some ideas for his future, and then the book From Paycheck to Purpose. That's the map to get there. You're going to be fine, Jackson, but get rid of this debt with reckless abandon. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruz joins me. 888-825-5225 is the number. Our scripture of the day comes from Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. Of course, our quote from Rachel's friend. Did you see this?
What? No.
Candace Cameron Bure. Is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm. Love her.
Excuse me. All of a sudden, I'm getting choked up. Don't know why. He has given us life, and we can either live that life with joy, believing that we can make a difference, or we can wallow in sorrow, believing we can't. How about that?
That's good, Candace.
From your friend Candace. You'll have to text her and tell her we read a quote of hers today.
I know.
Fantastic.
You came up on the show.
There you go. How many of you know that you need to save money, but at the end of the month, there doesn't seem to be enough money to save? We get it. But we've got some good news. This week, we're breaking down 27 simple tips for tweaking your budget that can make a huge impact and help you find extra money to save. Sign up at RamseySolutions.com/newsletter to subscribe to our Sunday newsletter and get on the fast track to saving money in no time. Misty is up in Mayfield, Kentucky. Misty from Mayfield, how can we help?
Well, I've got a question about my daughter's continuing education.
All right.
She just graduated from college. We cash flowed her through her undergrad. Now she has been accepted into vet school and will be starting vet school in the fall, which comes with a much bigger price tag.
Oh,
yeah, it does.
Wondering, we have a good retirement and was wondering about taking money from the retirement to pay for that tuition.
No, please. I beg of you. No, please.
The other choice is getting loans.
Well, that's not the... First of all, that's a false choice. But before we get to the choice, I'm begging you. Do you understand why I'm begging you not to pull from your retirement
How
to
old are
pay
you guys,
for her?
Mitzi? How old are you?
Okay. I mean, my husband is 65.
Oh,
we could pull from his without any penalties.
And how much do you guys have in your retirement?
Together, we have about $950,000.
$950,000. How much
Now,
is the school?
The school is $22,000 a semester.
A semester?
How many total semesters does she have to take?
It'll be 8. It'll be 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll be a doctor when she comes out of this. She'll be a doctor of veterinary medicine.
Yeah, and she'll also resent taking care of animals because she won't be able to focus on taking care of those precious little furry fellows because she's miserable with debt. I'm just keeping it real. And now let me ask you this: is this the champagne, the wine, or the beer veterinarian school?
This is more the beer. This is not the most expensive.
Wow.
Not at all.
Okay, well, she's got. So, what has she done to this point from a school standpoint? Because this is, you said, continuing education. Is she just going straight out of
continuing? She's already done her undergrad and has been accepted into vet school. So this is the
What was her undergrad
final. It was in biomedical pre-emphasis on pre-vet.
All right, can I ask a silly question? It may not even be silly. It might be, though. Can she get a good paying job in that field that is not veterinarian level, or even if it's not even animal related, but with that degree, can she get a really good paying job to where if she's disciplined, she can save up the money and pay cash for this, and you guys get to retire with all that money that you've been working so hard to save? Is that possible?
I mean, yes, she could get a job as something else.
Right.
But being able to get back into vet school would probably be a no.
Why?
Because she's turned it down. She got accepted her first try, which does not happen very often on vet school. It is hard. It's harder to get into vet school than it is medical school. Just because there's not that many.
So Mitzi, can I tell you what I'm hearing? There's a level to your questioning and the way you're framing some of this that are these extremes. No one ever gets in. It's it's big, and it's like these are the only two choices. This is the only choice. Like, it just feels really big. And what I have found, Mitzi, is that when I feel like I only have one option or two options in life, and I got to do either one, and both of them are not great, but oh my gosh, it's the only things I have. You end up making really bad decisions versus pausing and saying, hey, what's option C? What is option D and E? When you pin yourself in a corner you find yourself that you're going to make possibly a very poor decision if both options are not great. And what you've presented on the call are both not great options. I mean, pulling from your retirement, I think, is unnecessary, even though you could do it without penalty. But I want you guys, Mitzi, to be able to have a fantastic retirement without taking out close to $200,000 to pay for this.
That's not an option for me, Misty. Listen.
Well, and I'm still working, and
but she can work. She can work. She can pay her way through this.
And it's so many of these programs. They have places where you work for the college, Ken, and you're able to that they help with a degree. You go and you find maybe a veterinarian that you work under. And, you promise like, hey, I'll be here for 5 years if you help pay for school. I mean, like there are options, and I know they're slim, and I know that it doesn't happen for everyone, but I would turn over every single rock that is a possibility to help with this price tag, because it's a lot. And when you don't have the money, and she's 21, 22 years old.
She's 22.
Yeah, she's making a decision that, man, it's going to be with her for a really long time. And we just will never be on the side of encouraging debt and even student loans and all the things. So
I think she can work her way through it. I think there's two things I'm going to challenge you with. Number one, she can work through vet school, and she can find a way. She can get back in if she turns it down. I don't buy for a second that she'll never be able to get back in. I don't buy that. By the way, nobody cares where you want. Well, I know you don't know, but I'm just telling you, I don't buy it. And so I can still hear someone who's looking for an excuse to pull out retirement money, or you pay her way through this. And if that's what you want to do, we can't stop you, and it's your decision. But I would beg you not to pull from your retirement, and I would beg you to come up with any other way. Even if you got to help and you want to help, fine, that's cool. But she needs to have some skin in the game in this, or else she's going to get out of vet school, and she's going to be under a mountain of debt.
Mitzi, how much money do you make a year? Because your husband's retired. So how much income do you guys bring in?
He's together with his... Actually, he's on disability retirement. With his and mine, probably, I'm going to say about $110,000
a year.
Yeah.
Okay. And what financial shape are you guys in? What do you owe on your house and other debt?
Well, we lost our house in the tornado that came through Mayfield.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
But we had very good insurance. So we are currently rebuilding our house right now.
Wow. Okay.
But other than that, that's it.
Okay. And how much will you owe? Will you owe anything on that house, or will insurance cover the bill?
Insurance should cover all of it.
Okay. That's great.
Unless, except for, there's been a few upgrades that I've done, because I'm like, this is our house that will be in forever. And some of the things that I really hated about the other house, we're not going to do this time.
Sure.
Hey, Misty. Misty, I'm jumping in real quick because I want to give you some hard facts here. We're running out of time. You're looking at $3,666 a month if this is just a straight 22 per semester. It usually never is, but let's say it's 44 a year. That's what you're looking at. And so if you're going to cash flow this, if you're going to help and she's going to help, these are the real numbers. And it just helps sometimes to look at this and go, can we do this without debt? And we're going to have to do $3,666 a month. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the challenge before you. If that can be done, and she can help a big chunk of that, and you don't pull from your retirement, she doesn't go in debt, then go for it. But please, as Rachel said, don't choose the worst of some false choices. And we appreciate the call. You're a great mom. You got a great heart, and your daughter's going to be fine.
I'm sorry about the house.
Yeah, sorry about your loss.
It's terrible.
Oh, tough stuff. Rachel Cruz, good hour. Thank you for being with me, my friend James Childs, and our fearless crew for keeping us on the air, and you, America, for listening. This is your show. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Ken. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.